Jared.
Hey, Scott, pleasure to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
Today, talking about business, crypto, whammy pedals. You're hitting all my love languages over here.
Yeah, good.
I'm a huge crypto enthusiast. I read a bunch of books by Andreas Antonopoulos and really started to realize how decentralization could help the people.
Yeah.
So, out of curiosity, with your knowledge in the music industry, do you see any role that crypto could play in terms of strengthening the connection between fans and music?
Dude, the game is about to happen. It's called liquidity. And I'm actually getting ready to launch. So my company, where I'm co-founder in a company, this YieldX, we're hybrid liquidity pool business. So imagine this model. This is what I'm really excited. I'm getting ready to present this at Art Basel. So here's the deal. So our liquidity pools are basically, think of for people who don't understand liquidity, every trade has to have some sort of liquidity, whether it's a stock market or it's a coin. There's a pile of money that allows trading and stuff go on. This is what they call liquidity pools. And liquidity pools, coins and stuff, will get people to stake their money, put their money in this pool, and they'll give you interest, right? They'll give you money on that. So we have a business. Think of us like the S&P 500 of liquidity pools. We have three pools. We have a stable coin pool. It's doing 2.2 to 2.4% a month in interest. We have a coin pool, which is doing, which is Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the dollar, which is doing 2.7 to 4.2% per month for the last 3 years. It's just running. And then our DEX pool, which is made up of we look at 800 liquidity pools out there. We picked the top 40 pools, over 25 of the top chains. We never put more than 2.5% of the money in any one pool. And so we've diversified the thing, and we're getting 7.2 to 8.4% a month in that thing. So that's doubling your money. When you let that compound, that's more than doubling your money every year. So imagine this. Okay, so now here's where it gets to the music industry, right? So what we're launching is we're launching the a real world asset index right now, which will be our fourth pool. And the way that works is a big part of, again, the decentralizing this whole pool thing is you guys become your own bank, right? You get to lend and borrow your money. You know how the banks, when you go to the bank and the bank says, oh, I'll give you, put your money in this vehicle and we'll give you 3% a year, 4% a year. And then they go and leverage your money. Then they go borrow money and make all kinds of money. And we never get to see any of that, right? Well, in the DeFi space, now we have a lending and borrowing protocols. We have 67 of them inside of our application, right? So we lend and borrow your money. So imagine this. So I'm getting ready to launch my Moon EXP, my stuff that I put on the moon, my exhibit. And I have a piece called the Golden Mullet. You can go look at the Golden Mullet at mymoonexp.com, mymoonexp. And the Golden Mullet is basically a picture of me with my crazy old mullet from back in the day that was turned into made out of the 7,000 pieces that I put on the moon, right? And so all of the art in there. Now, here's where it goes to the musician. Now we're getting to your to answer your question. So what I'm doing is imagine this: everything you buy, everything you build, YieldX, what we do is, instead of a cashback program, what we say is, I'm going to share the yield with you. So in other words, I have a piece of art. Let's say that piece of art is $10,000. I told you, I'm saying I'm taking $5,000 of that. I'm pegging it to the piece of art for 5 years. You can't touch it. It's locking it into that piece of art. The $10,000, I'm putting 5, and then I'm going to share the revenue with you based on going into the pools. So now let's say I put 5,000, I bought the piece of art for $10,000, paid me 10,000. I'm taking the 5,000, putting it in the pool. That pool is doubling every year, right? So the 5,000 that I put in becomes 10,000 at the end of the first year, becomes 20,000 at the end of the second year, becomes 40,000 after the fourth year, becomes 80,000 after the fifth year, right? And you say, well, how can I do that? How is it possible? Well, it's because AI and DeFi is changing the game in a big way, because now we have a vehicle that we can look at this liquidity. We can look at these pools. The AI is watching it all the time, 24/7, and balancing it. So if the pool starts to go wonky, since you're distributed across, we can now level that. Now, we've been running this for over 3 years. If you put $1 in our DEX pool 3 years ago, it's about $20 now. right? So it's all on Shade. You could go all see this. So it sounds crazy, but imagine pegging liquidity to everything. Think about as an artist, tickets. You say to your ticket, I got a VIP pass, right? My VIP is going to be $1,000 to buy this VIP pass token, right? Which would be, but I'm going to take $500. I'm going to put it in the pool and I'm going to share that revenue with you. So the minute you buy the object, it's generating revenue. So you're putting liquidity into everything. So our company, we're building our app out right now. So imagine you go up your Nike and you're selling shoes and the shoes are $150. Nike says, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put $50 into this program and then you're going to get the revenue from that program. So now you bought the shoes for 150. You realize that $50 is going to generate revenue by in 18 months. I've got my money back from my shoes. So we're going to see liquidity go into everything. Same with these passes. A member of VIP pass, it's $1,000. I have 500 people that bought that. I put $500 in. I'm going to start getting revenue as the artist continuous, because I'm pegging that in what we're calling life yield. That's the name of our real world asset index, is you putting that money in, you're generating off the yield. Now, why that's interesting, our entire company, YieldX, we ate our own dog food. All of our investors, they put money, but we never touched the principal. We only put the money into the pools. The pool generates the interest. So what happens is now you can start looking new business models for artists. Like say, okay, my business, I'm a nonprofit or whatever, let's say, and I need to generate 100 grand a month. Oh, if I can say, if I put $1.5 million into the pool, I'm going to start generating $100,000 a month. So we're now looking at new models where liquidity and putting money into these things can start generating revenue. So for artists, it's crazy cool, because now I can have all these people. It's almost like you're getting to share in the profits of the band or whoever it is, but now it keeps going. And now if I let that compound, now that asset that was that ticket can be sold on, can be leveraged, right? Because that's the whole idea of putting liquidity into everything, right? Because now you can leverage it. That's the whole idea. They're buying. Why do you think they're buying all these catalogs? It's not to own the catalogs, so they can take those catalogs and they can leverage them and borrow against them. So now we have, through lending and borrowing and things. So for artists, this whole new idea of fans, super fans, right? What I would call, again, and I believe that you want to survive, you got to build a hive. The whole game now is building a hive of people around your business. So now with liquidity, where I'm going to share in it with my fans and with my stuff, changes the game. And I then have an ongoing revenue stream as the artist, because I may say, I'm going to give you 80% of the revenue. I'm going to take 20. So now if I've got 1,000 people that paid $500, I now have that $500 per thousand, whatever that is, $500,000, whatever that dollar is, it generating revenue for me that's in the pools, that's put in. And the important part of the thing is the pools is because of the AI and the diversification, it allows us to take the risk out. Most risk if you know, obviously being crypto, putting money in liquidity pools or staking your fees can be a little scary, because you could wake up one day and all of a sudden liquidity's gone and you can't get out. In this model, since we diversify it across 25 chains, across all the blockchains, we only put a small amount in. We now reduce the risk from 5.7% roughly. ChatGPT will tell you it's about 5.7% down to 0.00006, because it's leveling all the time. So now we have predictable revenue that we can start looking at that can now start feeding these models. So our whole thing is our app. You walk up to it, you see our little YieldX logo. It's got a QR code. You go, boom. When you buy that product, you already know your money goes into your wallet. And what's beautiful about this is our thing is updating every second. So now you can watch your money grow in your app. You walk in your app and you're growing. So everything you buy now starts to have liquidity. So for artists, this is the greatest tool set ever, because now I can have a small group of people that can come in. I can share the revenue, but the revenue is building. So instead of thinking like a cashback card when you're doing with gas or something where you go buy $100 worth of gas, you get it back. You buy and it goes into a pool and you're only spending the liquidity, the interest, right? Game changer. And I think this is about to change the game in a big way. So for artists, especially.
Unbelievable.